So I think currently, if you look at it,
Welcome everyone, I'm Shivani Gupta and today we preview the first ever World Test Championship final featuring India and New Zealand. What a moment this is for world cricket and especially Test cricket. For the very first time, we have a Test Championship final, a Test World Cup of sorts, and both captains will be looking to reign supreme for more reasons than one. First up, former India cricketer R.P. Singh is joining us. Also with us, senior journalist Ayaz Memon. Thanks a lot both gentlemen for being here. Also on the show, we will get you excerpts of Sachin's exclusive interview with me earlier on the World Test Championships final. And we will break down Sachin's mantra for Team India for success in this one-off final. The winner takes all. So stay tuned for more on that. Here's also a quick check of all you need to know before the final.
It doesn't get bigger than this. Southampton is all set to witness the battle for supremacy in the purest form of cricket. Nothing less than a win will be on the minds of both captains when India and New Zealand take the field on Friday morning. India's road to the final has been a smooth one, winning 5 out of 6 series and ending up with 72.2 percentage points. But here comes the worrying news. The only series India lost in this World Test Championship was against New Zealand, where the Kiwis made a 2-0 sweep. Talking of team composition, India has an experienced Rohit Sharma with young Turk Shubman Gill at the top, while Cheteshwar Pujara, captain Virat Kohli and Ajinkya Rahane bring depth to the batting. Speaking of the bowlers, Ishant, Bumrah and Shami have been a match-winning trio and have won series after series for India. Ashwin will be India's biggest bowling weapon, being the third highest wicket taker in the World Test Championship with 67 scalps.
It's really good to see, having so many fast bowlers who are ready to play at this level, and even if there are injuries, you have good backup options. They always want to take wickets, and even if the need be, if the pitch is flat, they alter their plans and bowl accordingly.
Out of the 5 series they played, the Kiwis won 3, lost 1 and drew the 1 against Sri Lanka. While Maverick captain Kane Williamson will lead from the front, Ross Taylor and Henry Nicol provide strokes and stability.
You go through the Indian lineup, just world-class players all the way through, and whatever side they do decide to go with, they're going to leave out some world-class players as well. So, we know, whatever 11 we face is going to be very tough. The England side, they rested a few different players, but there were still some very good players that we had to contend with.
Whatever the outcome may be, it is sure that come this Friday, we're all set to witness 5 days of exciting cricket, and the real winner will be the game itself. With Rishi Sinha, Ritangshu Bhattacharya for CNN News 18.
And we will be breaking down just who has the edge in which department with our guests live in just a bit. But first up, speaking to me earlier, Sachin Tendulkar dismissed flatly that India are the underdogs going into this match. Listen in.
No, I totally disagree. I think we've played some terrific cricket to get here. And, you just take Australian tour's example. Almost 10, 11 players were not available. And the guys who were on the bench, they were asked to play. And to the extent where a couple of them were actually practice bowlers, they ended up playing on that tour and they delivered. So that speaks volumes of our strength, how we've been able to, deliver that knockout punch in Brisbane has been truly remarkable. So by no means I would say that, we are underdogs and, yes, we haven't had enough match practice. New Zealand have had the best preparation possibly.
Precisely.
2 test series before this game. But that's how the game is. So we have to accept what has come our way, and we've prepared to the best of our ability. So I would focus on what one needs to do in the next step, and not worry about what people are thinking and all that, because I don't think that's right.
So Ayaz, Sachin doesn't feel like India needs to worry too much about the fact that they haven't had the ideal, build up to this match. He feels we've done well to get here and we must only focus on that.
Well, I think the part about focus is obviously correct, because if you start thinking about whether you've had enough practice or not, which is a fact, New Zealand are going into this match on the back of 2 test matches and having won one. And not just that, I think the last time India played New Zealand was in New Zealand. We lost both test matches. So in that sense, there is a sense, I suspect that New Zealand will be far more confident playing this match in England on the back of a victory against England, while India have been kind of cooling their heels in a biosecure bubble at Southampton. They've had some intra-team matches.
Yes.
But it's not the same thing as playing a competitive, leave aside a test match, even a first-class match.
Okay.
So the momentum that England have got, the New Zealand have got, is obviously of some advantage. But don't forget, as Sachin pointed out, the way India played against Australia in December and January, winning a test series which looked lost, and with almost like a rag and bobtail team, shows the mettle, the character, and the desire that the Indian team has. So I think
desire,
this match is equals.
Equals, absolutely. Let me take that to RP also. It's very difficult to really pin anyone as an underdog. They have too many advantages, both sides. But do you also feel the fact that New Zealand played in England versus England, obviously they've had the ideal build-up, that's a major advantage to them?
बहुत ही बड़ी एडवांटेज है, बिकॉज मैच प्रैक्टिस से बेटर कोई प्रैक्टिस होता नहीं, आप कितना भी नेट्स कर लें, पर मैच प्रैक्टिस है। वहाँ 2 टेस्ट मैच उन्होंने खेल लिया, और इंग्लैंड में खेला उससे पहले न्यूजीलैंड कंडीशन सेम है, वहाँ भी उनकी ऐसी कोई कोविड सिचुएशन थी नहीं, वो लोग मैच खेल ही रहे थे। हमारे साथ इश्यूज थे, हमारी प्रैक्टिस भी नहीं, और वहाँ जाके सिर्फ हम नेट्स कर रहे हैं। और रही बात अंडरडॉग्स की, इंडिया कभी अंडरडॉग्स नहीं थे। हम पहले बहुत सारी डिबेट करते थे कि न्यूजीलैंड एक अच्छा परफॉर्म करके आती है पर हमेशा अंडरडॉग्स रहती है, पर इस बार वो भी नहीं है। सबकी एक्सपेक्टेशन भी न्यूजीलैंड से, क्योंकि उनका जो टीम बैलेंस है प्लस बॉलिंग यूनिट है बहुत बढ़िया है, इसलिए उनको भी अंडरडॉग्स नहीं बोल सकते कि वो आगे सरप्राइज नहीं कर रहे, वो ऑलरेडी हैं कि हम सरप्राइज कर सकते पूरी तरीके से।
Okay, so basically neither is the underdog, neither has that big an advantage. Let's take a look at India's expected playing 11. This is what we are learning, of course, could be the consensus team. Things could change on the playing day because of some conditions, and if the pitch is drastically different than what is expected. So it's Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill at the top, Cheteshwar Pujara, our number 3, Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane, Rishabh Pant, the wicket-keeper batsman. We're obviously feeling that Ravindra Jadeja and R. Ashwin both will play in this match. And of course, the pacer trio will be Shami, Ishant Sharma and Jasprit Bumrah. So let me first go across to RP on this one. RP, what do you think? What should be the bowling combination according to you?
मतलब सबके अपने अपने थॉट है। मेरा अपना ये थॉट है कि इंग्लैंड में खेलना यहाँ पे बैटिंग करना बहुत मुश्किल होता है, खासतौर से कंडीशंस ऐसी रहती है वहाँ पर जो बॉलर्स को काफी फेवर करती है, बैटिंग के लिए बहुत चैलेंज रहते हैं।
राइट।
तो बैटिंग में थोड़ा सा गहराई रखनी चाहिए। अभी हमने देखा बीच में ट्रेंड हुआ कि आप 5 बॉलर के साथ जा रहे हैं, स्पेशलिस्ट 5 बॉलर, अदरवाइज तो 4 बॉलर के साथ ही हम मैक्सिमम खेलते, तो एक ऐसा बॉलर जो 5, 7, 8, 10 ओवर डाल सके। तो 4 गेंदबाज में आप 3 तेज गेंदबाज रख लीजिए, एक टेस्ट मैच, एक स्पिनर जो मुझे लगता है कि अश्विन, और जडेजा की जगह पर एक बैट्समैन बढ़ा सकते हैं हनुमा विहारी।
Okay, interesting. So Ayaz, what do you think? Should India go with 3 pacers, 2 spinners, or actually can they afford to go with 4 bowlers and a batsman, as RP is saying?
Well, I mean, look, you said about the at the start of this question, depends on the conditions, and that's more to do with the rain which is being forecast. And if it's going to, it's going to be play in fits and bursts, then the fast bowlers get enough rest in between play sessions, and therefore they can come back fresher. My opinion would be to go with the team you spelt out. The 2 spinners, Ashwin in his pomp, he's the most valuable player in the world today, as he's shown in the last 2.
Yes, absolutely.
Jadeja is somebody who you can, always expect runs from him. Brilliant fielder, and obviously even in a 4th innings scenario where there's been enough wear and tear, he can be very effective as a bowler. And look, if you take any other combination, if you're playing 5 bowlers, like if you take 4 fast bowlers, then India's batting gets weak. Because both these guys are also batsmen, they're all-rounders, they give you that batting depth. But if you go with only 4 bowlers, then the issue would be, what if the pitch doesn't play out to be as everybody imagines? New Zealand pile up a big total and there's nobody else that Kohli can turn to. I think what has helped succeed both these teams reach here is a very strong bowling attack.
Right.
Both New Zealand and India have reached the World Test Championship final on the back of bowling performances more than the batting performance.
Absolutely.
So I would say that keep that bowling, attack constant.
Yes, and in these conditions. In fact, I asked Sachin also about Jadeja and Ashwin finding a place in the playing 11. He did agree that, because of their batting prowess too, that could be a plus for India. He also, though, went on to explain how spinners can actually do well in England. It's not that these conditions will not work for them at all. Listen in.
The advantage here is both spinners, they bat well. They bat well and they can build some serious partnerships. Lower down the order, every run matters. And when you have someone who can bat and build those partnerships, it's dangerous.
Yes.
Those runs are invaluable. And when we talk about conditions, then I feel that, in India, spinners get purchase off the surface. But in conditions like England, and especially when you're playing with Duke's ball, if it's well maintained, then spinners get the ball to drift, either away from a batter or towards the batter. And the same case with not just with off spinner, but also with left arm spinner. It depends on how you use the shine. So if a quality spinner is given that ball, he is going to for sure utilize what's there in the air and use that, because it's not just the movement and swing for fast bowlers in the air. A quality spinner will be able to do that in the air as well. There is not much purchase of the surface. So it need not be that an off spinner has to get each batter out inside edge caught at short leg. He could always drift the ball away from a right-hander and get him out in slips. And so is the case with left-arm spinner also. So I would say, maybe 3 and 2 wouldn't be a bad option to go.
RP, I want to come to you on this because, we haven't really seen a pace attack which is as good as this with the bench strength that we have right now. What do you make of this pacers, all of them together? It's almost never before seen, isn't it?
मैनेजमेंट और कोच कैप्टन के लिए तो एक अच्छी मतलब परेशानी है कि उनके पास ऑप्शंस इतने सारे हैं कि किसको खिलाएं किसको ना खिलाएं। आप जसप्रीत बुमराह को ड्रॉप नहीं कर सकते हैं। मोहम्मद शमी आपके वन ऑफ द बेस्ट बॉलर हैं। ईशांत शर्मा शॉर्ट टेस्ट मैच खेल चुके हैं, मेरी पसंदीदा चॉइस सिराज के साथ है। उसके बाद उमेश यादव भी है। तो बहुत सारी अच्छे प्लेयर्स आपके पास। आपके एक हेडेक है कि मैं किसको खिलाऊं किसको ना खिलाऊं, तो अच्छी हेडेक है। और ये बहुत दिन बाद ऐसा हमें कॉम्बिनेशन मिला। और साथ में पास 2 स्पिनर भी ऐसे हैं जो दोनों स्पिनर भी वर्ल्ड क्वालिटी के और साथ साथ दे कैन बैट वेल ऑल्सो, तो वो भी एक एडवांटेज। तो मैनेजमेंट के साथ तो बड़ा इशू रहेगा कि 5 खिलाएं 4 खिलाएं, क्या करें
जी। बट मैं आपसे ये भी जानना चाहती हूँ कि इतना इतने सारे अच्छे बॉलर्स जो हमारे अभी निकल के आए हैं पिछले 5-6 सालों में, आपको क्या लगता है ये कैसे हुआ है दैट ऑलमोस्ट सडनली वी आर बीइंग लुक्ड एज अ बॉलिंग एंड अ पेसिंग सुपर पावर?
अब बिल्कुल उसके पीछे मुझे लगता है डोमेस्टिक सर्किट का एक बहुत बड़ा योगदान है और साथ ही साथ आईपीएल का भी है। आईपीएल आपको वो प्रेशर बियरिंग पावर देता है कि आप प्रेशर कैसे बियर करोगे। एट द सेम टाइम आपको अपनी स्किल डेवलप करना होता है, लाइक यॉर्कर स्विंग बॉलिंग को भी। पर डोमेस्टिक में जब आप आते हैं तो डोमेस्टिक में जो रॉ टैलेंट जो पिक करता है हमारा स्टेट, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। कैसे उस रॉ टैलेंट को पिक करना और सीनियर के साथ मिक्स करके उसको गेंदबाज को ग्रूम करना। आप लगभग एक बार रणजी ट्रॉफी की हर टीम में देखेंगे आप पास एक अच्छा तेज गेंदबाज होगा जो उनका स्पेयर अटैक रहता है। और कई टीम के पास 2 अच्छे तेज गेंदबाज, जैसे दिल्ली के पास नवदीप सैनी और ईशांत शर्मा भी उसके लिए खेलते हैं, वो भी हो गए। तो ऐसे बहुत सारी टीम है। तो डोमेस्टिक सर्किट में जो सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस था वो बहुत बेटर हुआ और पेस को प्रायोरिटी जरूर दी है, पर एट द सेम टाइम पेस के साथ साथ स्किल को भी प्रायोरिटी दी कि अगर आप बॉल हिला सकते हैं भुवनेश्वर कुमार तरह, तब भी आपकी जगह बनती है।
I also, in fact, asked Sachin Tendulkar on the Indian pace transformation. He also felt that this crop has the variety that complements each other and they have actually managed to deliver as a unit. Listen in.
With this generation, they all are playing together at the same time. So these are all bowlers, they complement each other. Someone like Ishan who's tall, Bumrah is awkward, Shami is skiddy, Umesh, then we've got Siraj. There is variety of fast bowlers that we have. Shardul is there. So they're all different to each other. So when you put them together as a package, it's a formidable package. They have been able to deliver and they have been able to work together as a unit. Bharat Arun has been their coach for now 3-4 years. I think he's delivered. He's done a wonderful job for the team.
Right. Ayaz, you were mentioning earlier that it's not actually the batting prowess that has got teams here. But I do want to ask you on the batting lineup. You know, we have so many batsmen and the top 6 effectively pick themselves. And they have so much class that form is not really an issue for them. Would you agree with that? And do you believe that India has the edge as far as the batting lineup is concerned?
Certainly on paper and on reputation, these are mighty reputations. I just want to give 2 caveats here. One is that, India didn't fare too well in 2018 when we played in England. 2014 was a disaster.
Yeah.
So was 2018. You take away Virat Kohli, almost 600 runs. He was the only guy who scored consistently. There was runs from Rahane, from Pujara, from Pant, etc., and KL Rahul, but not enough. I mean, we lost 4-1 or 1-4. The other thing I think we need to consider, and this is true also of the bowling, Shivani, is that New Zealand, they've got Kane Williamson with 7,000 runs, which is what Virat Kohli's got, almost level. They've got Ross Taylor, who's got 7,000 runs. They've got Tom Latham, who's got 4,000 runs. They've got Henry Nicholls, who's been looking very good. So it's a pretty, and Devon Conway coming with a double 100 in his first test.
Yes.
The batting looked vulnerable to me about 6 weeks, 8 weeks back. It's not looking so vulnerable based on the performance that they've had against England. When you look at the bowling attack, Sochi, Trent Bolt and Neil Wagner have got 800 wickets plus between them. Then there's Kylie Jamieson, the new kid on the
and he's done so well in this cycle.
One department where they struggle a bit is in the spin. I think that's where I think that's why I kept saying the two spinners. That's going to be perhaps the crucial issue perhaps in the match.
Okay.
How the spinners.
Okay. Well, there is a lot at stake, of course, for both the captains here too, Virat and Kane. This is the ultimate trophy really when it comes to cricket now, a Test World Cup of sorts, as I mentioned, and both Virat and Kane would be very keen to get an ICC trophy in their hands. They haven't won that, and that's one major criticism that happens of Virat's captaincy. So they'll be keen to do that in some style. Both captains are extremely strong and have been winning skippers for their teams. And Ayaz, I want to come back to you first up on this. And there's barely anything to separate between the two. They're opposites, fire and ice as it is called. But Virat is the most successful captain for India now in Test, and Kane has transformed the Kiwi side in the last 7 years.
Right. So this is a fascinating battle. There's a battle within the battle, which is how these batsmen perform. They're also captains of the team, how they captain. As I mentioned, there's not much to choose in the number of runs that they've scored. Virat has been more, emphatic as a player, as a personality. Kane Williamson more understated, but now people are beginning to value the way he is. So I think this is going to be one heck of a tussle. And listen, both have got very deep ambitions. Even Kane Williamson, though he might not show it overtly. So neither has won an ICC trophy. Obviously, this weighs more heavily on Virat Kohli because India is the epicenter of cricket and there's so much pressure of expectation on the captain.
And we won 3 under with Dhoni, so he has to. That's also the pressure, isn't it?
He has to handle that pressure.
Okay, let me take that to RP also. RP, who has the edge, do you think, between this battle of Kane versus Virat?
विराट कोहली कैप्टनसी में एक्साइटमेंट बहुत दिखेगा, पर एट द सेम टाइम अब केन की बात करें तो बहुत कामनेस दिखेगी यहाँ पर। अब विराट को जब अगर पुराना रिकॉर्ड भी देखें तो मैचेस बहुत जीते हैं, पर चैंपियनशिप में अभी बहुत सारे दूर हैं। अगर नंबर ऑफ मैचेस देखें तो विराट कोहली काफी बढ़िया खेला। वर्ल्ड कप सेमीफाइनल देख लीजिए आप, इंग्लैंड में अगेन न्यूजीलैंड, सबको अच्छा चला। आधे घंटे के सेशन ने हमें वर्ल्ड कप से बाहर कर दिया एक बड़े टूर्नामेंट से। तो विराट के पास कोई अचीवमेंट्स नहीं है कि वो कोई ट्रॉफी लिफ्ट की, उन्होंने चाहे आईसीसी की हो या वर्ल्ड कप हो। एमएस किया करते थे हमेशा कि कैसे करके आप मैनेज करते तो बाद में ट्रॉफी लिफ्ट करते। पर केन विलियमसन थोड़ा बेटर कप्तानी कर रहे हैं और हमेशा उस टीम को उतना हम लोग आगते नहीं थे, लेकिन हमेशा उस टीम को अपनी कप्तानी के दम पे वो काफी आगे तक ले जाते हैं। और यहाँ टेस्ट मैच जीते भी उसमें केन विलियमसन बहुत बड़ा रोल है कप्तानी का।
Okay. Importantly, before I take final comments from our guests, I also want to play out this excerpt from Sachin's interview where he talked about the future of the WTC final itself. Basically the format. This is a one-off final. He mentioned that this should instead be a 3-match series in the future. Listen in.
You spoke about just one final, one chance. But in T20 or for that matter, 50 over World Cup, there is only one chance. That is only because there is continuity. You only play each opposition once, or whichever pool you are in. It only happens once. And then it's fair to play one match in the finals. But here in a test series, we played literally, 4 test matches against Australia, 4 against England and India. And then suddenly you make it to the finals. And then you only play one game. It should have been a WTC series, the final series, best of 3.
Okay.
And then that needs to be decided where you and how you want to play, one home and one away, whatever. But that means all test playing nations need to keep themselves free during this period. So ICC also must have had their own challenges. And then over a period of time, they will put their heads together and come up with some newer ideas.
I asked, what do you think? Will such a change be possible for the ICC? Is this really important for them to do, and will all countries be able to keep that calendar time period free?
They'll have to just completely rejig their vision for cricket, because I think if you have a 3-match series, the final, which is fantastic, I take Sachin's point, then you have to give so much primacy to Test cricket that you might have to forego some other tournaments or some other bilateral series, etc., which makes up so much of international cricket today. So how to fix or how to fit in these 3-test final is really the challenge, especially with the IPL, with the Big Bash, with the Caribbean. There's so many things happening around in the cricket world. It's not going to be easy. So I think that's really the big challenge for the ICC.
No, actually, Sachin talked about that also, about how these T20 and shorter formats are dominating, but they are batsman dominated, and let Test cricket be more bowler dominated. Let the pitches be more favourable to bowlers so that there's a better contest. He talked about that as well, and I think that is something the ICC will also hope to do if we have to preserve Test cricket, if we have to keep the interest alive. And that's what these measures like day and night tests, the World Test Championship are all about. I want to also, before I go to RP, I ask you, New Zealand have often been considered underperformers, right, in big tournaments. Not as bad as South Africa being the chokers, but really underperformers. Do you believe this format is different for them and this is the perfect format for them? Or India is just too strong because they have greater experience in these one-off finals?
Well, I think, look, New Zealand have traditionally been very good performers in limited overs cricket. They've been in 2 World Cup finals, 2015, 2019. I think 4 or 5 semi-finals in the World Cup. So they've been very good in white ball cricket, or at least in limited overs cricket. Not so hot in Test cricket, except when you come to the last 2 or 3 years. Now they've had a bit of luck reaching final because Australia pulled out of South Africa. But don't forget that they won 7 matches out of 8 on the trot, including beating England now in England. So and look at their current ranking. They're number 1 in Test. They've replaced India. They're number 1 in ODI. They're number 3 in T20. So while India has been the most consistent team across formats in the last 3 or 4 years or 5 years, New Zealand is certainly the most improved. If you look at what they've done in the last 4 or 5 years, it shows the trajectory. They've been getting better and better and better. And the cluster of players has been consistent. They've had the same personnel going through for the last 6-7 years, which is a big advantage.
But speaking of big trophies, RP, India, of course, won the 50-over World Cup. And at that time, taking on the mighty West Indies, which nobody thought was possible. India then won the first T20 inaugural trophy. Do you think we can also win the Test trophy?
मैं तो चाहता हूँ भारत के पास है, और भारत ने बहुत अच्छा खेला पिछले 2 साल टेस्ट मैच वहां तक पहुंचने के लिए. एक आपको ध्यान होगा शिवानी, पाकिस्तान का मैच था तो वो मिस भी किया, लेकिन उसके बावजूद हम पॉइंट्स टेबल में वहां तक पहुंचे. और हमारी टीम बहुत बैलेंस. अगर बॉलिंग की बात करें तो आई थिंक वन ऑफ द बेस्ट बॉलिंग लाइनअप वर्ल्ड की है हमारे पास, जो 20 विकेट ले सकती है. हमेशा चैलेंज रहता था कि हम बस 20 विकेट लेने वाली बॉलिंग चाहिए. वो जो हमारे पास है 4 गेंदबाज 20 विकेट ले सकते हैं. यहाँ पर बैटिंग नाम हमारे बच्चे, लेकिन कुछ उसमें कमियां रहती हैं. तो प्रोबेबिलिटी तो है हमारी हाई कि हम वर्ल्ड कप, ये पहला जो टेस्ट मैच चैंपियनशिप है, वो हम जीत सकते हैं.
और आपकी क्या एडवाइस रहेगी? ये जो बिग मैच जो होता है, ऐसा जो एक सिंगल बिग मैच फाइनल टाइप है, उसमें सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट चीज क्या होती है? आपकी क्या एडवाइस रहेगी?
बिग मैच सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेयर रहता है, बिग मैच प्लेयर्स जो होते हैं उनका क्लिक करना, क्योंकि वही होते हैं जो प्रेशर को एब्जॉर्ब भी करते हैं और वही मैच को हारे हुए मैच को भी चेंज करते हैं अपनी स्किल से और अपने मेंटल टफनेस से। तो बड़ा मैच जरूर है, तो आप मेंटली टफ होना चाहिए भारतीय टीम को, क्योंकि प्रैक्टिस नहीं मिली और नेट्स पे ही है, और एक बिलीव कि हम इतना लंबा सफर तय करके आए हैं, इस पैंडेमिक से बाहर निकले भी हैं, तो वैसे भी हम इस टेस्ट मैच को भी जीतेंगे, बिलीव के साथ खेलेंगे, जरूर जीतेंगे।
Okay, Ayaz, any final prediction you want to put? Maybe not your money, but any guesses on who do you think will come out trumps?
Well, it's an even Steve situation, as you mentioned. But if you asked RP about what could be a strong factor influencing the outcome of the match, I think that apart from the relative strengths of the players, and we've discussed that, there's also two other things. One is the toss, the other is the weather. And it could, for instance, if you're batting well, you started off well, and then it gets overcast and you lose wickets in a heap, then the whole match transforms. So I think that is something that both teams will have. That it's not just about temperament. There also a lot of skill will come into play if conditions change. Because if the weather changes and it starts affecting the pitch also, all those things will come into play, and that's where I think India perhaps have a little, have an advantage, because their players are that much more seasoned, and they've had some wonderful overseas victories in the last, couple of times that they've to Australia. So.
Right. Okay. We'll leave it at that. Thank you both of you for joining us. And of course, we look forward to that big final. I want to end this preview of the WTC final with the 5 mantras of success that Sachin gave in his interview to CNN News 18. His first big point was that focus on the next step, which is the match, and what you will do in the match. Don't worry about the underdog tag or anything else. He said, tune yourself out. Don't let the pressure build around you, because a lot of people are talking about it. He also talked about how the Indian batsmen will have to be on their toes for seam and swing in these conditions. But he added that this is a problem for both teams, not just for Indian batsmen. He also went on to say that if there is bounce and pace on the pitch as is expected, then that's a good opportunity to score runs and punish bad length and line by bowlers. Very importantly, Sachin also mentioned that the Indian team must take extra time in the middle to adjust, because they haven't had the best preparation, unlike New Zealand. So take your time and adjust and settle into the middle. That's how you own the 22 yards. And Indians should give more time to this. So in a way, take things slow at the start. He also mentioned that the first session would be very key, and India must look to make that count, whether they're bowling or batting first. He seemed to indicate that if the first session goes well, you can build upon that for the next 5 days, and that's going to be really, really key. And finally, he continued to stress about how India needs to deliver as a team. He mentioned that if you look at Australia, the series in Australia, it wasn't about any one individual. This team's strength is that it's delivering as a unit. That is what has worked for them in the last 2 years and has taken them to the final. So that's what the Indian team should focus on. With that, it's a wrap on this special preview. Thanks a lot for watching.